Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me first thing. I'm looking forward to going through Proverbs 3 today and sharing some of the things that God showed me. They're not easy, eh? And I must admit that's part of the excitement. Is if anything that I've ever achieved has meant a lot to me, it hasn't come cheaply. And the pursuit in loving God and seeing what's in His Word, for me, it does that. But without taking any more time, let's get straight into this. So, Proverbs 3. My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablets of your heart, so you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord, and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Honor the Lord with all your wealth, and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will be bursting with wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, or be weary of His reproof. For the Lord reproves him who He loves, as a father the son in whom He delights. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom, and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed. The Lord of wisdom founded the earth by understanding, and He established the heavens. By His knowledge the deeps broke open, and the clouds dropped down the dew. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and there will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. Then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror, or of the ruin of the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence, and will keep your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to do it. Do not say to your neighbor, go and come again. Tomorrow I will give it, when you have it with you. Do not plan evil against your neighbor, who dwells trustingly beside you. Do not contend with the man for no reason, for he has done you no harm. Do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways. For the devious person is an abomination to the Lord, but the upright are in His confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but He blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Towards the scorners He is scornful, but to the humble He gives favor. The wise will inherit honor, but fools get disgrace. As I said, there's a lot in there. But breaking off some pieces, as I say, when I go through Proverbs, I don't try and get it all in, because I'm going to keep doing it in my personal journey, and different things come up at different times. So what stood out to me this morning was the first thing of peace. God's commandments safeguard us. I remember this lady that worked for me when we first started getting bigger, and there was need for systems. You know, when you're a small team and you writing your own invoices because later you're going to capture it, the processes that are required are not as important as when there's many hands doing different things. Then at the end of the day, you try and put it all together and you realize there's a gap here. So at this one juncture, we were having money move around and money disappeared. And the thing that I experienced in my heart is you're suspicious of your driver, of the lady that works with the money in the front and in the office, and there's no peace. And so this analogy was left in my heart, is when I spoke to her, the lady in the office now was saying, I need to put in the system. You need to sign the money, and, the question was asked, obviously, is, we've come so far together, don't you trust me? And it was God's wisdom in that moment that actually these words came forward. As I said, it's not because I don't trust you, it's because I love you. What happens is, I know in my heart, which I truly believed at that point in time, that this person didn't steal the money, but because there's no commandments to be followed, it leaves doubt, it steals peace. So we implemented the system, and she got my heart, so she wasn't offended. I think it was about 6 months later, a larger sum of money disappeared. And I asked her this question: did you follow the commandments? And she looked at me, she went, oh, yes. And she opened up the book, and we could follow the system as where the money disappeared to. It ended up with the driver, went to the driver, there was an explanation, the issue could be resolved. And for me, that's a very simple analogy, but that is what is in God's heart. That God's commandments are actually meant to be for our good. They're not meant to trip us up or to steal joy from our lives. They're actually there to position us so that we can succeed and we can actually experience His peace. So the challenge for me was, Keith, endeavor to walk uprightly in all that I do, with whomever I meet and whatever I'm doing. The other one that stood out to me is love. This needs to come from in us, not because of other people. And herein again lies the power of the gospel. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, He sent His one and only Son. The idea is that if you're experiencing His love in the way that He intended, your ability to love as He did will not only be possible but enjoyable. So it means that if we're experiencing God's love, it's a lot easier to be able to give it. But in any case, that when we're busy doing whatever we're doing, it's really important that we put love out front. And that's a challenge to me, because not everybody's lovable. Sometimes you don't even love yourself. So unforgiveness poisons this well. So forgive that you may be free. Who knows, you may just love again. Unforgiveness has a lot of poison in it. And, my dad and Ma's relationship in the beginning was really, really rocky. And really, I could honestly say years later, by not much fault of his, but just in the decisions you make as a son or as a person. Sometimes when we walk in unforgiveness, it kills relationships, and ultimately we are sick by it. And the joy of being able to walk in restoration with my dad, with forgiveness and love, I can say that it's a rich experience. Applying God's recipes really work. Third one, fear God. Nothing I'm thinking about or considering doing is a good idea if it jeopardizes this. It will steal my peace. Consider my ways carefully. That's something that I really felt important. That anything that I do or you would want to attempt, particularly in a time like this, fear, anxiety, and stress can often, definitely steals creativity. But what it can do sometimes is it can erode or want to challenge our moral compass. And I want to encourage you, trust God, walk with Him, and hold true to who He is, and build with Him. These scriptures are guaranteeing certain things, and I am a beneficiary of what I've read here to a very large degree. So I would be able to say that we can trust God to walk it out. Discipline is the other one that came through for me. It is an expression of love. Not every one of us have had a great experience through our lives, possibly with fathers or father figures or teachers or whatever the case may be, but I'm really challenged by this, that in my relationship with God, I not judge how man has dealt poorly with me based on who He is. There's a lot in this Proverbs that I'm reading that as you hear it and it starts to run through your heart, it challenged me that God's not as in a bad mood as what I've observed through certain people's lives. He's actually a lot more loving than one is led to believe sometimes. Wisdom and understanding. I want to close with this and saying, in order to be able to gain this wisdom and understanding, we need to trust ourselves more. Ignorance comes with an education, but the experience leads to nothing good. Invest in yourself more. We need to do this if we hope to experience the wisdom and understanding that God actually has for us. Run your own race. That is a huge challenge for me. Sometimes we look at guys that are really excelling or something that we would like, or whatever the case may be. There is enough sun for all of us, but it gets pretty crowded when we're all aiming for the same umbrella. Let's get out there and let's own the space under the sun that God has created for us. Great. Lord God, I want to thank you for this amazing opportunity to share in this devotion with my friends on the other side. And Father, I pray that as they've got this Sunday, I would want to ask, Holy Spirit, would you meet them where they're at right now, that you would touch their hearts, that they would experience a softening of their heart, the love that you extended to them. Thank you, Father God, that when you decided to love us, you decided, irrespective of how good or bad we are, you decided that you wanted to love us. And I would pray on this Sunday that they would experience that. As I sit here right now, Father God, it would be my desire to be able to experience more of your love, to be able to tackle the things that we need to do. So I want to thank you for every person that's listening, that they'd be encouraged and that they'd be charged in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you first thing.